What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams. As always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? So welcome to Tuesday's episode. So Monday and Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion. Thursdays will be a throwback this week, where we reach back to, I think I used Move It last week, so I got to find something else. I could probably use the city in Texas based upon what we're talking about today. And then Friday's everything else, movies, books, games, all that good stuff. Without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article actually comes from bleepingcomputer.com. It's written by Lawrence Abrams. And Long Beach, California turns off IT systems after cyber attack, right? So these cyber criminals, they're getting smarter and smarter, right? Like they know if you go after one of these cities, they more willing to pay, right? Like they got to get their people up and running, or they're going to hear about it. And Long Beach is a city of 460,000 people, right? And it's the seventh most populous city in California. Now, granted, California has a lot of popular cities, but 460,000, that's a lot of people affected, right? So that's a lot of people that are reaching out to the city like, hey, what is going on? You know what I mean? So, but premise of the story, Long Beach, they had a cyber attack, led them to shut down portions of their IT networks to prevent the attack spread, right? So it seems like they detected it kind of quickly, and they were like, all right, shut it down. You know what I mean? So, which we've seen this before, right? So like this happened in, was it New York? Was the one where they were like, it was access to like 911 services and things like that were affected, to where they had to go about doing them a different way.
Mm-hmm.
It was a while ago. It was at least a
Yeah,
year.
it was like upstate, yeah.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Transformers movies. He was like, cut the hard line. He hit it with an axe. Like that was a bit excessive. There's switches everywhere. Everywhere.
That's so true. That's so true. It's
What are we
always like
doing?
that. And you grab an axe and you just cut it. Yeah, that's true. You know, you just like, it's to the point now you just pull this cap out.
Yeah, there's
You know
buttons.
what I
Big,
mean?
like
You
you
know,
just flip like hit a
fiber.
button.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it could be.
No, man.
I never thought about that.
Take a fire axe to it. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes it better for the movie. So you know what I'm saying? Like that makes
Cut
it.
the hard line.
But yeah, but yeah, Long Beach, right? So I don't know. Maybe Snoop is without some services right now. I don't know. I don't know if he's still.
Oh man, the song's playing in my head too.
Yeah. But out of an abundance of caution, right? They took it offline immediately, right? So they're saying that the systems are going to be offline for a few days. And if you go to the city's website, they actually talk about it a little bit more, right? So they tell you, you know, why they did certain things. And they're trying to declare a local emergency for this as well, right? So they're taking it very serious on things that are going on. So that was November 17th, them trying to declare a local emergency. And there's the Long Beach City Council approved it with an 8-0 vote. So like everybody's on board, like, yes, this is an emergency. We need to take different steps. There are things we need to do to safeguard systems, public services, you know what I mean? So they say they're working around the clock, right, to fix the issue, so they can provide those public services that people want and need so much, right? Especially when it's a city of 460,000. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a lot of people to go without, public facilities and things like that. So, but digital services, they anticipate they'll be back in the near future, but we'll see what comes of this, right? So like they suffered this cybersecurity attack. So did they cut it off in enough time, right? So did they cut the hard line in enough time to actually avoid enough information getting out, or being severely crippled to where they're not going to get what do you call it, like a ransom, you know what I mean, for everything that's going on. I don't know, like we'll see, right? Right now, it's just a matter of, services were hindered. You know what I mean? Emergency services, they say, remain unaffected, which is a good thing, right? So they say they remain unaffected, but is it a matter of they can still do everything that they could do before, or are they going back to pen and paper, writing stuff down, and then just using the phone, not going through a computer system or something like that, right? So they don't necessarily delve into that, but we know, like the one in New York, that's what they had to do. Like it was a lot of the conveniences that they've become accustomed to, they just weren't available anymore. So but they talk about services not being available through the weekend. Like I said, emergency services remain unaffected. They don't know what kind of cyber attack occurred and if data was stolen. But again, hopefully they cut the hard line in time, right? Whoever the fireman was that went out there with the axe and made the cut did it fast enough, right? So that they're not getting a ransom for it. But we'll see, right? Um, but they had something interesting in here, right? So MZSoft threat analyst Brett Callow, who tracks attacks on local government in the United States, told Bleeping Computer that if this turns out to be ransomware, it'd be the 80th, like 80, local government to suffer a ransomware attack in 2023. So just this year alone, 80 of them. Now I knew it was happening. I didn't track that it was that many. Like that's a lot, right? And so of the 80, 46 of those are known to have had data stolen. So again, we know this happens out there, right? We just talked about it up in Maine. Was it last week? It was Maine, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep. It was Maine where almost their entire population.
right. 1.3 of the 1.37 or
Yep.
1.307 or whatever. Well, yeah, 1.37. So yeah, so they're tracking it. If you go to their website, like they're keeping pretty up to date with information on what they're doing, and they're being very forthcoming. I like to see this, right? So like again, they're talking about details or giving the rationale. They talk about background on the network security incident and the response. So they're being very forthcoming with it, which is a good thing, right? Like you like to see this. It's not like they hid it for a little while and then you didn't hear anything. So uh, good on them. Good on Long Beach, right? Like because we know this is going to happen. Like this is just how everything works nowadays, right? Like if this is the 80th this year, which I was not tracking, it was that many until I read this article. Like that is a lot. You know what I mean? Like I like to think I keep somewhat up on cybersecurity news, and that just got past me. That number was high. When I first read it, I thought it was 8, and I was like, yeah, I can see that. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute, 80th, 80th? Like I'm definitely not tracking that. So, but they're doing their part, right? They're doing what they need to do, and again, hopefully they didn't lose a lot, especially when it comes to 460,000 people. But we'll see. Like this is one of those things going to be ever developing. You know what I mean? So, Ryan, what's your thoughts on this?
Yes, definitely like, share, subscribe. That's my thoughts. Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion. Thursday, I didn't mention it before, but the Thursday episode, I want to make sure I get his name correctly. Uh, for next week. So like our Ask CSP interview will be with Dr. Joseph J. Burt Miller Jr. So he was kind enough to reach out and ask to be on the show. He's actually a listener and he's going to start a podcast in the future, but not to give too much away. So definitely check that one out. It won't be this Thursday, which will be this Thursday is Thanksgiving, right? I'm tempted to put it on this Thursday. So holidays like for behind the curtain, holidays, your audience jumps. Like it gets bigger because people are chilling, right? So that they're not necessarily doing their normal routine. They listen to a bunch of different stuff, to watch movies, all that good stuff. So more to come. We will see because it was a really good conversation. Um, then maybe the next week we just do a bunch of throwbacks. This is a week of throwbacks, maybe. Maybe that's the way. I don't know. I'll get back to y'all. So with all that being said, I was also very surprised by the 80th, right? Because I think we've talked about three this year, I want to say. So we talked about New York, we talked about Texas. I can't remember which city in Texas was Chelsea Pierre was on that one. That was a really good episode. And then we talked
Maine,
about
Maine.
Maine. That how do we miss seven? Like we wouldn't have gotten all 80 anyway, but I that is a very high stat. That's not good, people. Like the 80th municipality be hit this year because subtext only go up, they don't go down. So if it's 80 this year, then next year it'll exponentially grow to double, triple. Um, yeah, change passwords, people. It should be like in the military, right? I might start doing that like every 90 days I need to change it. To a 15 character string, right? Non-repeating numbers, letters, and all that stuff. But I digress. No, I was also very surprised that it was 80, and I also like you like the transparency. Um, it seems to be getting quicker though. Like so the New York one because E911 was affected. They talked about that one fairly quickly. Dallas, that was almost in real time when they brought that one up. I remember seeing on Twitter like they were discussing it as it was unfolding, right? Uh, so I think the ones that we talk about are the ones that are a little bit more forthcoming, a little bit more transparent, because they hit the news cycle fairly fast. And then the other ones are probably trying, not necessarily hide it, but they want to collect all the information. They want to know what's affected. And then they may just be slow on the trigger, right? So that may be why they're not popping up in the news cycles as quickly. Um, but yeah, we'll see what the future holds. Like, hopefully this trend does decline. Especially if they're able to, like we keep joking, cut the hard line so quickly, it might not be worth the ransomware's time. Uh, Especially if not getting paid. But like out of the the other 80, 46%, so that's over half, how many of those paid, right? How many of those local governments paid the ransomers? Because that will also feed them like stray cats. So if you got broke off this time in, some random city, township, whatever, you might try to get some bigger fish over here in this bigger city. Just keep developing your skills and make more money out of it, which is unfortunate. So hopefully they're not paying. But we say that every week. There's an article or a topic like don't pay, like they're going to release it anyway. Don't pay.
Yeah,
Uh,
because that's what happens, right? They release it anyway if it's not enough, right?
yeah,
Or we try to negotiate with them. But no, so like with what you're saying, like people talk, right? So like as with anything, people talk, and you know that these cyber criminals are out there, like they have boards, or I don't know what you would call them,
like forums.
like forums, yeah,
Yeah,
amongst themselves, where they're like, hey, this is where we made out, you guys should try to do something like this, you know what I mean? So
right,
when you do, you like you said, it's like stray cats, right? Like you one stray cat like goes back, tells the other stray cats, man, I ate good tonight, man, let me show you where I ate at, you know what I mean? Like
right.
what's going on?
Right, and they double dip, right? So if you pay them this week, they'll be back a couple weeks from now to double tap. Like, oh well, we have more information. Probably had the same information, like, or they left a back door, right? So get back in there and do more damage. In this case, they don't even know who did it yet. Usually, it takes a good week or so before they announce themselves. Probably because they're parsing through the data that they did take, right? They're trying to figure out like how deep did we get? Do we have an ability to get back in there? And then let's lay it out on the table. Let's like what treasures did we just uncover, and how much can we charge the victim for them, right? Before we release this stuff to the dark web in some respect. So more to come. It's unfortunate, especially 80. The year's not even out over yet, right? We still have a whole another month and a half to keep this unfortunate trend going. So we'll see what the future holds. What I am appreciative of how quickly they move though. Like, so hopefully this, like on our end, this can be taught, right? Here's the standard procedure of if you are a victim, this is how quickly you need to move, you need to contact, right? You just build it into your instant response plan, right? So definitely continue to tune in. I'm sure we'll be back in a couple weeks to talk about who the actual gang is, right? The syndicate, the cabal that attacked this municipality, and then what the fallout is. Hit us up Monday, Tuesday are topics. Wednesday's discussion. Thursday is the throwback or Ask Us SP, and then Friday's everything else: movies, books, games, all that good stuff. Hit us up by the website to go by our name. Give me a person. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. You can find me on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Twitter, and Threads. Stay safe. Stay secure.